YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Sports Dad, and I got some more information and I'm back. Listen, I know we locked up on the quarantine, but that ain't gonna stop me. And you know what? I know it's been a while since I posted, but you cannot deny that the information that I'm giving you is solid. So do me a huge favor, make sure you promote the page, like and share, please do, because somebody needs to hear this information. And boy, the session that we got today, I think you're going to really enjoy it. But look at me, I haven't had a cut and I don't know how long. Look at this. Oh my God, this is a mess. But let's get into it and let's jump into it. Today we're gonna talk about a really good documentary that's gonna piece it everything that you ever thought of about, you know, AAU mostly, but also too, this information can be applied to football as well. So let's go. All right, so I'm at home, you know, and of course you try to find many levels of entertainment, being, you know, and locked up in the quarantine and whatnot, because of the coronavirus. And I'm wishing you and your families, you know, very well. Hopefully you guys are staying healthy. If you lost loved ones during this time, my condolences to you. And but we will get through this. Stay positive, keep moving, keep exercising, and we will get through it. But as we are at home with our families and things like that, we try to find ways of entertainment or whatnot. So I'm chilling and I'm flipping through the channels, and you know, I have Xfinity, shout out to Xfinity. So I was speaking to the remote and I said free movies. And so, and then it goes to the free movies and it pulls up different styles, different genres or whatnot. So I started going through and I was clicking through and I got to documentaries, right? And I ran over this first documentary. It said The Scheme. And I looked at it and I'm like, what is that, right? So I hit the info button and they talked about NCAA Division I colleges paying for prospects. And I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. This is going to be a good one. So why don't we do this for a quick second? I'm gonna take you into just so you can see just a little bit of the clip or whatnot, but I'm telling you, man, and then we'll come back and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. All right, cool.
Conference, I literally thought of a book and I was like, shit, I mean, Sean should have his own like movie agent or some shit, or a manager, like he should be an actor. That was a really high level, I was convinced, honestly.
Contrary to what has been written this past week, we do our very best to run a clean program at the University of Arizona. I have never knowingly violated NCAA rules while serving as head coach of this great program. I have never paid a recruiter, prospect, or their family or representative to come to Arizona. I never have and I never will. I have never arranged or directed payment or any improper benefits to a recruit or prospect or their family or representative, and I never will.
What's he want?
You want to know my opinion? When Sean had his press conference and said, has a player from Arizona ever received money? Or did he know anything about a player from Arizona receiving money? Did he lie? Yeah, that wasn't true.
Yeah, he was beating out a lot of the top Nike and Adidas guys from some of the top talent in Michigan.
And he took a very good team and turned them into one of the top 5 AAU programs in the country.
At the age of like 17, he got Under Armour to sponsor the team. It was the only Under Armour sponsored team at that time in the Midwest. To this day, nobody understands or knows how he was able to secure an Under Armour shoe deal.
From a sneaker company standpoint, Christian, why do they want to be involved in sponsoring high school basketball teams?
It's marketing. If you're Nike and you're trying to launch a new shoe and you needed to get some level of visibility on it or some level of recognition for it, what's the best way to get that shoe out or get that shoe some exposure in Saginaw, Michigan? You put it on the high school team, the high school players. How else would Saginaw, Michigan know about a new Nike shoe? If I'm outfitting Zion Williamson in South Carolina with all Adidas or all Nike, pretty sure kids in that area are going to buy Nikes and Adidas because he's going to be the most popular, most visible person in the community. by the end, we was over 6 figures between sneaker sponsors and local people to sponsor it through events. So we were definitely over $100,000.
And he built strong relationships, not just with the shoe companies, but college coaches.
That, at a very young age, put him in a position where he had some power with the college coaches, because now he had a lot of the top players on his AAU team. And that's when I think he got people's attention in the basketball world, not just the AAU world, but also the college basketball world.
At this point, I've already got a shoe deal. I've already got money. It makes no sense to me to go to school. I knew what I wanted to do. My first job in the basketball business, I got hired as managing director for a financial services company. And my first year there, I signed 2 first-round picks.
The Philadelphia 76ers select Elfrid Payton.
All right, so that was just a little bit of the clip, right? What you think? So throughout my my posts, my videos, to my channel, what I've been trying to do, guys, is like I said, I'm just simply trying to help somebody, and things like that. That's all I'm trying to do, and I want to grow my channel, giving as much knowledge as I can in regards to the recruiting process, guys. Especially with parents and young players, it's very important, especially when you have a young athlete, a young inspiring athlete who wants to play at the next level, right? At a high level and things like that. So of course their feelings and emotions, spirit, everything is into it. And so it behooves you to understand what's really happening in the world of recruiting. Parents, start educating yourselves. If you got friends who has family members that are athletes, get this information to them so that they can look it over. All right. But in my post, though, as I stated, I just want to help someone. But I post videos that talked about, AAU, talked about football and things like that, but also talked about the money aspect of things, right? So after looking into, after you seen that little clip, you get an idea of what this documentary is about. So, but even with that being said, you have to sit down, get your child, the inspiring young athletes, get your parents involved. If you're watching this, have them sit down and have them watch this documentary. This is awesome. I don't understand how I didn't hear about this or whatever, but this is awesome. Like it really, really hits home. And, it talks about a guy by the name of Christian Dawkins, who was based out of Saginaw, Michigan. His dad was a renowned coach at Saginaw High School, and Christian was an inspiring basketball player who realized that he didn't have what it takes to play at the next level. So what he did is that he became very savvy mentally, business savvy, but still in the area of the game that he loves, which is basketball, right? He became very savvy and he worked the system, and to the benefits of the athletes and to the benefits of himself as well. So, but the guy is an absolute, the guy is an absolute genius, like very, very wise young man, very smart. Unfortunately, he caught a tough break, or whatnot, but dude was very wise or whatnot. But this is how it is, right? And he's not the only one that's doing stuff like this, right? This is a common practice. What you guys are gonna see in the documentary, it is a common practice that is happening every day in AAU and football, recruiting, all that stuff. So it is very important that you understand what's really going on, and that this whole recruiting process, it is not pure at all. What it is, it basically boils down to they understand that they have kids and parents that has a huge emotional tie to whatever sport it is that they're trying to go after, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that their kids are connected, right? And And if you have an amazing, as I stated before, if you have a kid that's an amazing talent that can actually play at the next level professionally, then you will really understand what I'm really talking about. But the reason why, do I necessarily agree with everything that was transpiring in the video, but with Christian Dawkins, what he did? No, I don't. However, I understand the why behind it. I understand why there are people like Christian Dawkins that take the time and effort to research and put things together so that they can benefit, and also the athlete can benefit as well. Here's the reason why they are able to be successful. And I talked about outside entities and stuff like that before. Who knows what is going on in that realm? But whenever sports is involved and things like that, and you got young athletes, you better believe in some way, shape, or form that money is involved. But the reason why it's all happening is because the NCAA is not going to pay. Ooh, bars. Hey, the NCAA is not going to pay. All right, I'm chilling. I'm stick to what I'm good at, okay? But the NCAA is not going to pay. They're not going to give these kids or these young athletes who are bringing in billions of dollars into their college organization, the college university. They're not going to pay these kids at all. Like, they think that the scholarship is enough, but the scholarship is just a few pennies that's coming out. And most of the time, it's not coming from the universities, it's coming from the alum. So in essence, they are taking all of this money, that the ticket sales, the jersey sales, video games, right? Concessions, all of this, right? They're raking in tons of money. They're raking in tons of money, and they're not even thinking about, NCAA is not even thinking about, I know it was mentioned, but it's literally like twisting limbs and to get these kids to be compensated, right? And it's not fair to them, because guess what? If a kid decide to play at the college level, right? If they end up getting hurt and a career-ending injury, who's going to take care of them? What did they get from it? Outside of a scholarship, right? What did they get from it? Absolutely nothing, right? There's nothing guaranteed that they're going to continue to receive some funding from the college, and it should be. You got college coaches that are making $300,000, $500,000 a year, right? Almost, possibly more than that, almost close to an NBA coaching salary. But we can't pay the kids, right? So what's happening is that they said, okay, since we can't get money this way, we're going to get these kids money this way, right? And so you get these little boosters, these little, runners, inspiring agents. What they do at the AAU level, they find the talent and they get them, right? They have recruiters on the AAU team, like on the major AAU teams. And get it, this whole situation, this documentary is based out of Michigan. And a good friend of mine was actually affiliated with this particular team as well, at the AAU team that he had, because Christian Dawkins had an AAU team and it was quite successful. So, but what happened is that, like, these inspired agents, they see these high school players and then they be like, oh, okay, what we're going to do is that we're going to stay close to this person, right? And we're going to give their family the funding that they need, right? And then when they become, and then when it's time for them to graduate high school and go to college, then what they're doing is that the college coaches are in connection with these guys. Now, the college coach is just not going to be in connection with people that don't have any power. But if you have talent, which is the key, if you have talent on your team, like some good talent that can play at the next level, the college coaches and the recruiters, they will mess with you. They really will. And so what happens is that they talk to these guys and they get these inspiring agents, runners and things like that, because these guys are in connection with their families. And so what they try to do is try to persuade them to go to these particular colleges, right? And sometimes, in some instances, the college coaches or recruiters or the colleges or whatever, they will give you funding as well, to your program. Because why? Because you're filtering wonderful talent to their team. And that's how it works, right? And that's how it works. So, but in the event that the colleges are not getting any money, what happens is that if you have a really funded AAU team, they will pay, and they will also, support the families and the players. And I know it's happening. I know it's happening. But that's what they would do. They will support the family and the players. And then by the time it's time for those guys to go pro or whatever, now that player has become attached, is still connected with the AAU team. So now they have more sponsorship because now a player just made it to the NBA, and then now they're going to donate money back into the program, right? If it's a situation where it's a booster or an agent that's giving the family money for a high school player, then when it's time for them to be drafted or when it's time for them to go and play at the professional level, then guess what? That agent is hoping that they contact that they are still in connection. Because why? Because they was there for you, they helped your family, they gave them money and things like that. And if they don't, then that agent will bust them out, or that booster or whatever, will bust them out. And then that's how, and then they go out in the ESPN and then in the news that they were taking money, but because if they decide to go with a different agent. So it's kind of it's a crazy business. But it's all happening because there's no money coming from the NCAA. And if there was money coming from the NCAA, it still would be some sort of, money involved between, AAU teams and families and with college coaches, because a lot of these college coaches are in connection with the AAU teams, just like a lot of the college coaches are in connections with these outside entities. So, so that's what it is. It is what it is. I don't care what anybody say. You can't tell me different. If you want to tell me different, come on the show. You know who you are. You said you was gonna come on. I haven't seen you, and I'm not gonna chase you, because I like dealing with people that's a man of their word. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I feel good, and you also should feel good if you're doing things the right way and doing things the clean way. And I can lay down my head at night, and go to sleep, knowing that I've given my kids, and put them in the best position possible, doing it the right way to succeed. And it's been proven, when they can go out there and compete at a high level against those guys that have, 10, 15 offers, right? So, and I said it before, a lot of these kids, you get offers, you don't even know why they're getting them, because when they play, it's like, okay, like, all right. But it is what it is. You should be able to go to sleep at night. And so I am too. But listen, watch this documentary. You will not be disappointed. It's very educational. Christian Dawkins, amazing guy. Hey, listen, the guy he opens, the doors and pull out all the skeletons that you want to hear. And he really confirms a lot. He shares a lot of the information. He talks about shoe deals, how these AAU teams be getting sponsored and things like that. And shame on you AAU teams that are charging an arm and a leg for players to play on your team. You're not sponsored, and you're not even thinking about trying to go after shoe sponsorship, because that's the key. Because what happens is that when you go after your shoe sponsorship, right? You go after the shoe sponsorship, and if you go and you win one of those tournaments, you get a shoe sponsor, right? And then now that shoe sponsor is funding your team. And guess what? And that's where the funding begins. And so now that you're getting funded, it's so easy now for you to adapt talent, because those teams that are funded, they're not charging players $600, $700, $800 to play for an AAU season. Why? Because they're funded. They're gonna fund that. You may have to pay for travel, maybe. But other than that, they're funded. So that's how it works. That's how it works. But watch this, watch it. It's a wonderful watch. I love it. Shout out to, Christian Dawkins, man. Like, really, hoping for the best for that brother, because he's still dealing with his charges and things like that, and he's still fighting them. But, dude is very smart. you know, so and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's that. It's a very, last thing I'll say is that this movie is, I mean, the documentary is very recent. When I looked at the info, I thought I've seen something like 2019 or 2020. So it's very recent. So this is a very good watch. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Share this information, like whatever it is that you need to do to get this word out. You know, so it's Sports Dad, and I told you guys, when I come with some good information. So check it out.